that was very important to have a space for discussion, but also a space for political discussion, politics, not policy. That is really important, because when we are talking about politics, we are talking about power. And that is really important. That's something that we are missing here when we are talking about just advocacy and lobbying, because we think that we are trying to change the policy, but no, we ended up talking the same language as the ones that we are trying to convince. So we are losing if you are not addressing the question of power. So the other thing is that anything, the access of healthcare, the access of decent education, the access of housing, the many human rights were denied. And even now, when last year, when there was a discussion about the Sustainable Development Goals, many governments are avoiding now to talking about human rights when address the Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 Sustainable Development. All of them are human rights, but they say no, those are human needs, and we need to address those with policies. So, but human rights and needs are totally different. A need, you can buy a need with money. Human rights, you cannot buy human rights, and that is really important, and that's something that we have to fight. We have to fight even for words that we use in the progressive movement, like participation, like empowerment. When you see those words are now part of the mainstreaming of the oppressive system. They are talking about empowerment, they are talking about participation, and so on. So that even we have to recover the real meaning of democracy, as the key speaker talked, because they are talking about a totally different democracy. And I think that that's another political discussion that we have to talk, and we have to talk about. And the other thing is that when we are talking about alternatives, so we have also to reflect about the issue that social movements were in the front of the struggle, social movement many years ago. But now, look, when we analyze where are social movements, many social movements in the north and in the south have become NGOs. And many social struggles have become projects. So, and when you are addressing any struggle as a project, you are ended up anywhere except, anywhere. And when you're trying to sell the project to a foundation, so they are talking, for instance, when you are talking about social struggle, no, struggle, no, that's politically incorrect. Let's talk about a social engagement. So you see the difference of that we have to talk clear what we want to achieve. And sometimes that means that you have not to agree with the languages they are using. But it's not a struggle, it's not the project, it's a struggle. When you change that analysis, so that will be a difference. So the other thing is that when we are talking about social movements, sometimes people are scared when we discuss what about if there is a candidate and a political party that we cannot agree with that political party and that candidate 100% of what he's proposing, but at least he is proposing something that our movement would like to, support. So when we are talking about the alliances between social movement and political party, many people say, no, that's impossible. Why not? Why is we have to think different? Because if we continue to do the same thing as we have doing, so we are remain at the same point where we are. We have to be creative. Sometimes, challenge even the way we think. So that's another thing. And talking about our experience, a lot was involved in a struggle against privatization. And when the problem that we face when we were talking with people is that the people in our countries, they were so trying to survive. So that the neoliberalism also was so smart that, took many human rights and put people just, in order to survive. But how come, a person that have been deprived of basic human rights can become a real citizen and exercise their citizenship? So that people are just surviving, and sometimes it's something that they are doing all day. But you cannot ask them to engage in political participation when the guy is surviving. So that's another thing that we have to think in alternative, not only political alternative, but also economic alternatives, that people are truly empowered. So, and the other thing is that when we try to explain people really complex issues, we have to demystify those issues, because some people are suffering the oppression, but sometimes they don't understand how that works. So if they don't understand, how come we are expecting to get the alternative from them? It's really important also to understand that we have to not only